Kevin was going to direct this picture originally. He had written this script for himself to direct, but he ended up going back to the first script he had written, which was more of a character piece, to be his first directing job. So I knew that I wouldn't have him on the set while I was filming this because he would be directing his own movie at the very same time. So we worked really hard together for about 2 months to do all the work that he would be normally doing on the set, and so that he could just go off and concentrate on his directorial debut. And he's so prolific and so fast and so creative, which is why I wanted to work from him and learn from him. I'd been wanting to work with him since I'd read Scary Movie, script that he'd written that became Scream later on. And he just was really on top of things. He loved the same genres that I did, and he was just really clever and great dialogue and characters. And it just one of those, writes the scripts that you can just read in one sitting and that you know that you want to go see or make. I think Kevin's really successful in his films because he really writes from the heart. He really writes from his experiences. As an actor, he's an actor who turned writer, very much like Quentin is. And the similarities are that they really draw upon experiences they have to put reality into their characters. And it's not like he goes and studies the high schools to see what people talk like, act like. They're very universal themes that he deals with, very universal, that everyone has gone through at one time or another. And he remembers them so well and remembers the emotion and captures that. I think that's why teens respond to it, because they see a lot of the stuff that's out there that doesn't hit the nerve. He's able to do it because he really draws upon real experiences, and all his stuff has always been very autobiographical in a lot of ways. Kevin's scripts, and this one in particular, is just full of great characters. There's so many characters. I never thought I could juggle that many characters. I couldn't believe how many speaking parts there were that I had to go cast for. It took forever. It took longer to cast than it took to shoot. And I was doing it for just months because it's a very ensemble group casting that you're doing. As soon as you cast one person, that changes your mind about who you want for the other parts, because they all kind of got to complement each other and work together. Not just for the students, but for the teachers as well. I guess that for me the movie is about just the alienation and conformity and individuality that goes on during a real high school experience. I mean, the best sci-fi movies have an element of reality to them before throwing in the idea that becomes the seed of the sci-fi idea. And what this had was just, it felt like a real high school to me. Just not trusting the adults, not knowing who you were, not knowing who your friends were. And everyone's changing constantly. And you don't know in this movie if it's real change or if it's brought on because of some alien seed that's starting to take over. So it's sort of an alien invasion type picture set in high school, which I always thought was a really great idea, and couldn't figure out why anyone hadn't done it before yet, because it's such a perfect place for one of those Are You kind of movies, because you just don't know from one day to the next who to trust, or even to trust yourself, because you're changing. And it was just ripe for this type of story. I think I would call it sci-fi because of the element of reality that it had tied together with a sci-fi element. I mean, it's a sci-fi picture, but at the end of the movie, you feel like you just went through a real high school experience, because that's what high school felt like, including the aliens. I mean, I think a lot of people feel like they're aliens themselves going through school. Just because, not necessarily even because of the high school, just because of that time in your life when, you feel more like an individual, yet you're still stuck to a regime that someone has dictated for you. You got to go to school from here to there, and you got to be home before midnight, and that's just an internal clash and an external that goes on. And I think that's why people can respond to it. I'm excited about the movie opening. It opens Christmas Day. I didn't procrastinate. You always feel like you're still in high school, because I used to make movies instead of term papers in high school, and I would get graded on them. And it's kind of the same thing. I just turned in my movie project. It opens the 25th. I'll wait for my report card from all the teachers. They'll say, A minus, B plus, C minus, thumbs down, thumbs up. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like you're forever a student in this life. So I can't wait to see what I get on my report card.